Scorpio, you've been carrying a weight so deep within your chest that sometimes it feels impossible to breathe fully. There's a question that haunts you in the quiet moments, when you're alone with your darkest thoughts. Why does everything in my life feel so intense? Why can't I ever find peace? And the answer you've been desperately searching for is about to arrive. Before September ends, a sign will manifest in your reality with such absolute clarity that you'll have no doubts. It will no longer be a vague coincidence or a confusing feeling. It will be a definitive message about what you came to this world to do and why your life has been exactly the way it has been. But I must warn you, this sign won't arrive as you imagine. It won't be comfortable or comforting. It will show you truths you've been avoiding. It will reveal why you attract exactly the kind of situations and people that do. It will expose the patterns you've been repeating without realizing it. Life after life, relationship after relationship, cycle after cycle. And when you finally understand, when the veil falls and you see the whole picture, something inside you will break. Not in a way that destroys you, but in a way that frees you from a prison you unknowingly built. Have you ever noticed how your life is never half-hearted? How everything that happens to you has an intensity that others can't even comprehend? While others live on the surface, you plunge into the darkest depths of every experience. You feel more, suffer more, love more, hate more. There's no middle ground for you. It's always all or nothing, life or death, heaven or hell. And you've probably asked yourself 1,000 times why it has to be this way. Why can't you just live lightly, like other people seem to manage? The truth is, you were programmed for intensity. Your destiny isn't to live on the surface because you have a mission that requires depth. And the sign that's arriving before September ends will show you exactly what that mission is. It will reveal to you why you went through each of the painful experiences that have marked your life. Why that relationship had to end that way. Why that betrayal had to happen. Why you had to hit rock bottom to understand something essential about yourself. The signal will arrive through a situation that will force you to examine aspects of yourself that you've kept hidden, not just from others, but from yourself. Scorpio, you are a master at hiding. You hide your vulnerability behind impenetrable armor. You hide your fears behind a mask of control. You hide your need for love behind a posture of absolute independence. But this ability to hide also prevents you from seeing crucial parts of your own nature. For Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, the sign will manifest through an encounter with someone who will reflect back to you exactly what you need to see about yourself. It could be someone new entering your life or someone already there who suddenly shows you a completely different side. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the message will come through a situation that will force you to confront a deep fear that has been controlling your decisions without you realizing it. And for those born between November 13th and 21st, the sign will appear as an opportunity that initially seems risky or scary, but is actually the gateway to the destiny you've always felt existed. Scorpio, you've been living with the constant feeling that there's something greater waiting for you, something beyond the ordinary life you've been trying to build. You look around and see people content with their predictable routines, their simple pleasures, their modest ambitions. And a part of you even envies this ability to be content with the ordinary. But you weren't made for the ordinary. You were made to transform, to transmute, to die and be reborn again and again until you reach the purest and most powerful version of yourself. The problem is that you've been resisting this process. You've been trying to fit into a normal life, have normal relationships, follow a normal path. And every time you try, life pulls you back into the depths. It forces you to confront the darkness, the pain, the intensity, not as punishment, but as a calling. The universe has been trying to show you that your destiny isn't in the superficial light where everyone lives. It's in the ability to descend into the darkness and return with wisdom, with power, with gifts that only those who have passed through the fire can carry. Before September is over, The sign will arrive, showing you exactly what your role in this world is. And it will probably scare you a little, because it will be bigger and more intense than you imagined. It will require you to fully embrace your Scorpio nature, the depth, the intensity, the power of transformation. It will ask you to stop trying to be lighter, simpler, more palatable to others. It will call you to fully embrace who you are, with all the darkness and light that entails. You know that feeling you've been having lately? That restlessness that keeps you awake? That feeling that something is about to explode in your life? It's not paranoia. It's not unfounded anxiety. It's your soul recognizing that the moment of revelation is approaching. Your higher self already knows what the sign will bring, and it's preparing your body and mind to receive that information. That's why you've been feeling so different. Scorpio, I need to pause here, because I know exactly what you're feeling right now. You're reading this, and part of you recognizes yourself in every word, but another part is afraid to admit it. You carry so much inside, so much pain you've never shared, so many fears you've never confessed. And the worst part is feeling like no one truly understands the intensity of what you're experiencing inside. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be completely honest. What's the hardest part of being you that no one sees? That pain, that fear, that internal struggle you face alone every day. If you're feeling a lump in your throat right now, if words you've never said out loud are trying to come out, please let them out in the comments. You don't have to tell everything. You don't have to expose your deepest secrets, but share at least a fragment of that pain you silently carry. You can simply copy and paste "my invisible struggle is," and complete with whatever your heart needs to say, because here's the truth no one told you. When you give voice to the pain you carry secretly, it loses some of its power over you. And when others read your words and recognize your own struggles, you don't just free yourself a little, you help another Scorpio soul who also thought they were alone in this battle. I read every comment. Every word you share here could become the light someone else needed to see to keep going. So please don't keep it to yourself this time. Write in the comments, "My invisible struggle is," and release at least a fraction of the weight you've been carrying alone. Scorpio, there's a reason you attract exactly the kinds of experiences you do. It's not bad luck. It's not coincidence. It's not that the universe has something against you. It's that you're constantly being placed in situations that force you to evolve, to transform, to transmute, lead into gold. Every betrayal you suffered, every disappointment that broke your heart, every moment where you felt like you couldn't go on, all of these moments were portals. Portals to deeper levels of understanding, portals to more powerful versions of yourself, portals to gifts and abilities that only develop through extreme pressure, intense heat, and radical transformation. You are like a diamond in the making, and diamonds don't form in comfortable environments. They form under immense pressure, in dark depths, through processes that destroy everything inessential. The sign that arrives before September ends will show you the diamond you've become through this entire process. It will reveal the gifts you've developed without realizing it, the wisdom you've accumulated through pain, the power you've gained through loss, the ability to see through masks and lies, the ability to transform situations and people simply by your presence, the strength that comes from having died and been reborn so many times that death no longer scares you. But here's what will shock you. The sign will also show that you've been using these gifts against yourself. Your ability to see through everything has been turned inward in a destructive way, causing you to judge yourself relentlessly. Your power of transformation has been used to sabotage yourself, creating and destroying opportunities before you even give them a real chance. Your emotional intensity has manifested as self-destruction rather than self-creation. The destiny that will be revealed isn't just about what you can do in the world. It's about what you need to do within yourself first. It's about stopping using your Scorpio gifts to hurt yourself and starting to use them to heal, to elevate yourself, to transform into the most powerful and whole version of yourself. Because the truth you need to hear is this: you are not a victim of your intensity. You are its master. You just haven't fully taken control of it yet. In the days leading up to September's final sign, you'll begin to notice patterns that have always been there, but that you never fully connected with. You'll notice how certain situations repeat themselves with different people, how you always end up in similar dynamics, no matter how different the context seems, how your relationships follow an invisible script you didn't know you were writing. These realizations will be uncomfortable. They will force you to admit that you have been complicit in creating many of the situations that have caused you suffering. Not because you wanted to suffer, but because a deep part of you believed that only through suffering could you achieve some kind of redemption or transformation. This belief is wrong, and September's sign will show you this so clearly that you will no longer be able to hide from it. Scorpio, you're afraid of your own power, not the superficial power to control situations or manipulate people. You know you have it, and sometimes even use it when you feel the need. I'm talking about real power. The power to create the life you truly want, instead of just surviving the crises you create. The power to love without destroying yourself in the process. The power to be vulnerable without losing your strength. This power scares you, because if you embraced it completely, you'd have no excuses. You could no longer hide behind the wounds of the past. You could no longer blame circumstances or the people who hurt you. You would have to take full responsibility for your life, your destiny, your choices. And that's terrifying, because it means that if something isn't working, you have the power to change it, but you also have to do the hard work of changing it. The coming sign will offer you exactly that. An opportunity to step into your full power. It will manifest as a clear choice between continuing in familiar patterns or risking everything on a completely new path. Between remaining in the safety of familiar suffering or diving into the unknown of a life where you truly allow yourself to be happy, fulfilled, and at peace. And here's what will surprise you. Choosing happiness will be scarier than continuing to suffer, because you know how to survive suffering. You've done it 1,000 times. You have expertise in rising from the ashes, in rebuilding from scratch, in transforming tragedy into strength. But you have no experience in standing in the light, in building something beautiful and allowing it to remain beautiful, in loving without destroying, in having peace without creating drama to feel alive. For Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, the signal will arrive through a profound conversation that will seemingly happen by chance. Someone will say something that will act as a key, unlocking a door in your consciousness that has been closed for years. And through this door will come an understanding of why you've been stuck in certain patterns. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the message will manifest itself through a synchronicity so specific and impossible to ignore that it will force you to admit that there's something much bigger than yourself orchestrating the events of your life. It could be an unexpected encounter with someone from the past, an opportunity that comes out of nowhere, or a loss that makes room for something much better. And for those born between November 13th and 21st, the sign will come as a crisis that's actually a gift in disguise. Something that initially seems disastrous, but will turn out to be exactly the push you needed to finally break out of a situation that was keeping you small, even if comfortable. Regardless of how the signal arrives, all Scorpios will recognize it by the sensation it produces. It won't be information you process only mentally. It will be visceral, cellular knowledge that will settle in your body as an absolute certainty. You'll feel it physically when the moment arrives, a shiver, a tightness in your chest that turns into expansion, tears welling up from the depths of your soul. And in that moment of recognition, you'll finally understand everything. Why you were born a Scorpio, Why your life had to be so intense, why you had to go through everything you did, why certain people came and went from your life exactly when they did, why you had to learn the specific lessons you learned. Everything will make sense in a way you've never been able to explain before. Scorpio, your destiny is not to be happy in the superficial sense that most people understand happiness. Your destiny is to be an alchemist, someone who takes darkness, your own and that of others, and transforms it into light. Someone who descends into hell and returns not only unharmed, but bearing gifts for those left on the surface. Someone who understands death so deeply that they can teach others about life. September's sign will show you how you can stop simply surviving your crises and start using your gift of transformation purposefully, and creatively. It will reveal to you that you've been wasting energy creating and destroying the same patterns over and over when you could be using that same energy to build something extraordinary and lasting. But for that to happen, you'll need to do something that goes against all your self-preservation instincts. You'll need to trust, not necessarily in other people. You have valid reasons for your struggles with trust, but you'll need to trust the process. Trust that the universe isn't cruelly testing you, but preparing you for something greater. Trust that you have the strength to handle what's coming. Trust that it's safe to finally let go of control and let your true destiny unfold. In the final days of September, you'll feel a building energy. It'll be like being in the eye of a hurricane. Everything around you may be chaotic, but at the center lies a profound stillness. And in that stillness, you'll hear a voice that isn't your mind rationalizing, not your fear projecting, not your pain echoing. It'll be the voice of your soul saying, "Finally, you are ready." And then the sign will manifest. Clear, unmistakable, impossible to misinterpret, and you will have to choose. Continue on the familiar path that keeps you safe but limited, or follow the call of your true destiny that will take you to places you can't even imagine now, but that your soul has always known existed. Scorpio, I'll tell you something no one has ever said. Your intensity isn't a problem to be solved. It's a gift to be embraced. Your depth isn't a burden to be carried with shame. It's a superpower to be used purposefully. Your ability to feel everything so deeply isn't a weakness. It's a strength few have the courage to develop. The world needs people like you, people who aren't afraid to look into the darkness, people who know how to turn poison into medicine, people who understand that true healing, true transformation, true evolution only happens when you have the courage to descend into the depths, confront what's there, and bring back wisdom that only exists in those dark places most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Before September is over, you'll receive confirmation that you were right all along. Right to sense something greater exists. Right to not settle for the superficial. Right to seek deeper meaning in everything. Your destiny is not to be like everyone else. Your destiny is to be exactly who you are, in all your intensity and depth, and to use that as a force for transformation, not only for yourself, but for all who have the courage to dive into the depths alongside you. So when the signal arrives, and it will, don't doubt it. Don't question it. Don't try to rationalize it. Recognize it for what it is, the answer you've been waiting for, the direction you've needed, the confirmation that your destiny is much greater and much more meaningful than you've allowed it to be so far. If this video touched something deep within you, if you felt that thrill of recognition that comes when something true is said, share it in the comments. Let the universe know you're ready to receive its signal. Write, "I am ready for my destiny," and release that intention to the cosmos. Subscribe to the channel because when your sign arrives, you'll need guidance on how to interpret it correctly and act accordingly. The revelation of your destiny is just the beginning. What you do after that is what truly determines whether you'll live the life you were born to live or simply survive. Turn on notifications because in the last few days of September, I'll be sharing specific signs that different types of Scorpios should watch out for. You don't want to miss this crucial information when you're at the exact moment of your revelation. Scorpio, before September is out, everything will change. Not in the way you imagine, not in the way you control, but exactly the way it needs to happen for you to finally access the destiny you always knew existed. The sign is coming. And when it arrives, you will know with every fiber of your being that your true life is finally beginning.